In this problem, this works exactly the same way as the last one where we had a square. So give this one a try and see if you can do it without using help from the video first. If you still need help, we're about to go through it. So first things first is, what does it mean to square something? This means that you are multiplying it by itself. Just like that. Okay, so now when we want to go and derive this thing, we know eventually we're going to need to use the power rule. So we need to get rid of the radicals, turn them into fractional powers, and we're also going to need to get the x's out of the denominator. So this is how we do that. Bring the d dx along to say that eventually we'll take a derivative. So we're going to turn our radical x, that's going to be 1/2. The second one is going to be 1 over x to the 1/2. And then the second one is going to be exactly the same because they're the same quantity. Just like that. Okay. Now we're going to bring all of our x stuff that's in the bottom up to the top, negating the exponent. So x to the 1/2, that sticks around. Then we have x to the minus 1/2 here. And then we have x to the 1/2 plus x to the minus 1/2, just as before, because the two quantities are the same, basically. All right, so now we have this in a form that if we were to use the power rule, this will be very, very straightforward. Okay, now we can derive it. We have this, and we have this function. These two things are being multiplied together. Derive the first. So that becomes 1/2 x to the minus 1/2. And then the second one, you bring your minus 1/2 down, so it becomes minus 1/2. X to the minus 3/2. Copy paste the second one, just as you see it. Then you add, copy paste the first, x to the 1/2 plus x to the minus 1/2. And then you derive the second. So this becomes 1/2 x to the minus 1/2 minus 1/2 x to the minus 3/2. And you're basically done at that point. But if you notice, this whole thing and this whole thing are exactly the same. Yes, they're different colors, but in mathematics you're usually writing in pencil anyway, right? Bad joke. Anyway, you have two of the same thing. So this is the same thing as 2 times each of these. Okay, so all I did was rewrite one of those green underlined things, and then I just multiplied it by 2 because I have 2 of them. Okay, so another thing I can notice here, by the way, yes, you can definitely stop right here. But I'm going to continue to algebraically simplify this because I think this will get prettier. That's usually when you want to simplify, is you think it's going to get prettier, so you try to make it that way. All right, so notice I have a 1/2 and a 1/2 here. I have a 2 here. So my hope is to cancel. What I'm going to do is FOIL that 2 through, and that would cancel out those 1/2s. Aside from that, there's really not much else we can do. So I think we'll call the problem done at this point.